Hey there. So let's be honest, you probably weren't expecting to see this video from me. This is actually the first time I've done a video directly to our clients. And as much as Tim and I have done a bunch of YouTube videos together, we have not gone all social media influencer. But in all seriousness, I thought it was important to try something different. So, in an effort to reconnect, stay a bit more human, when just about every email I read now feels like it's come from the same AI source, I asked you to get a cup of coffee, or possibly, in my case, a cup of tea, and let's have a chat. So, first off, happy November. Reason for the message today is just, as I mentioned, to be a bit more human and to reconnect with our clients. And I want to highlight some of the product improvements. And if you do subscribe to our release notes, you would have seen earlier this week some important, meaningful changes. And the first of which that I'll highlight today is our Health Age Predictor report. So, if you ever sat back and said, we need better data, or why are we doing this again? This report and these insights will certainly help you better understand your population and hopefully inform how you can make better decisions and drive better engagement for that group. So let's start with the big one, our Health Age Predictor dashboard. You can access this dashboard under your reports section. So what this dashboard does, it pulls together all the insights that we know about this population and helps you understand two important factors. Are the risks of that population increasing or decreasing? The second of which is, are they ready for change? Which I would argue is equally as important as just, are they at risk or not at risk? So what you're seeing on the screen right now is obviously our risk stratification of where the group falls, our health age distribution, and then getting further into the substance of this, which is our modifiable and non-modifiable factors. Certainly, we want to always focus on the modifiable factors, things you can control and things you can influence. And if you do influence those, obviously the population improves and the health risk does reduce. I want to go over to our risk analysis. This is really insightful. You can see this quadrant here, and you can see where are our quick wins versus places you want to spend less time on. So, although we have heavy alcohol use and excessive sitting, we see those as lower priority items because they are very early on in that pre contemplation phase of the readiness for change versus some quick wins, which is high stress. So the population here is saying that they have high stress based on how we ask the questions, and then that they are ready for changing. So that is one of the areas that you would say, I want to spend time here as I'm managing my group. And you can see further down is, how are these risk factors contributing to the health age? A demographic report breaking down male versus female who has poor sleep. And then the key drivers right here, which is pre-existing conditions account for an additional 4 years added to this group's age distribution, weight, and others further down the list. If you scroll down, so if you scroll down a little further to our population behavior heat map, you can see each of the risks that were identified and where that population falls along those risk factors. So in the physical activity section or tobacco, you could see that in this group, there's 100% of people are non-smokers. There's no risk for tobacco currently in that group. But if we're looking at stress, for example, as I mentioned before, 18% of people are considered at very high risk. And further down, which is the exciting part, is the readiness for change. So looking at this report here, you can see where those risk factors account for, are people ready to move and to change and influence their habits and behaviors. So in the low physical activity, you can see 25% of people are ready to take action now versus the unhealthy diet. There's 14% people who I've identified they have a risk. They're not eating healthy, but they said, I don't want to make any changes. So ultimately, you want to focus in on those that are high risk, of course, and those that are ready to change. So those two factors, these two insights that we're able to provide now that we've never been able to do before. So that was the big update. I hope you find the Health Age report and dashboard very useful. What you're seeing on the screen now is our release notes. So this is what I'd encourage you to read if you don't already get this. This will be part of what I'll trigger off of each month, highlighting different features within the product I thought would be relevant. But on the screen here, as you're seeing, we had our bulk data processing, a new admin feature added into the product, and then additional content down here, which is some of our webinars. So I hope you enjoyed this update. Look forward to chatting with you all soon. If you need anything, reply back to this message, and cheers.